Hello, I'm Jai Ashton, and this is a presentation of my literature review for the Critical Research module. My literature review will ask the question, the role of photojournalism in driving social and political reform. The reason I wanted to do this is it's a subject that has always interested me, and we often talk about how important photojournalism is and how important photographers are. However, what I wanted to do is look into the real changes that have been made by images taken by photojournalists. The intentions of this review are to find examples of images impacting social and political reform, to see what is said about these examples by authorities and journals, to explore the processes and intent of these images, and to look at the photographers that have made this happen. Whilst these aren't the only examples that I looked at, these three authors here are what I found to be the most important pieces of literature for my review. Some key themes stood out when I conducted my research, which were the Citizen Trustor by Borgri, the formation of movements, and differences in intent between the various photojournalists. The first key factor was the idea of the Citizen Trustor. This is an idea by John Locke that the man cannot stand idly by while injustices happen in the world. This argument was put forward by Borgri to suggest that photojournalists are driven by some moral compass, which means they cannot stand idly by. This was important because it gave the idea that due to the very nature of the photojournalist's job and the fact that they are interested in world affairs, that they can not be political. In other words, if they see something happening in front of them that they think is unjust, they have to do something about it, whether it be with their camera or other means. Another key point I found from my research was how many movements were formed with the aid of photojournalists. And in fact, rather than just being a tool to provide their images, the photojournalist was often at the centre of these movements, helping drive the change. And one can argue that through their photographs, these movements wouldn't only not have as much weight as they did, but may not even have existed. And therefore, political and social change may never have come around without the photographers. Another key thing that I found was the differences in intent. Some photojournalists, whilst on another job or potentially just by accident, come across a social injustice that they feel as if they need to right. Other photojournalists actually go out with the intent of capturing the social injustice in order to make a change. Furthermore, some photographers actually go out with a specific goal in order to capture an image which can drive political change. This is evident in what is actually captured by the image, but it is also evident in the way the image is composed, each with a different job, each with a different intent. Issues I found with the literature review I conducted was, whilst there's lots of examples of photojournalists making political and social change in the 20th century, whilst we all know there are examples of how this has happened in the 21st century, it's not very well written about, or from the research I did, I struggled to find any. So this is one area in which I would actually like to do more research, or even possibly, conduct my own writing into how this is still happening today and how processes have changed, how intent has changed, and who is actually carrying out these changes and taking these images has also changed. So to conclude, I actually really enjoyed my literature review. It gave me an insight into how political and social change is driven by photographers and by photojournalists. However, if I was to do it again, I would look more into recent examples. This could be due to my own error, not finding any recent examples or focusing too much on old examples, or it may be that there is a lack of this. This is something that I'd like to look into further.